Today, we're going to be talking about if Mei should be nerfed, and if she were to get nerfed, how would you do it, and what would it actually mean for us in the end? Because frankly, right now, Mei is a pretty controversial character, if I'm keeping it real for you guys. Because if you look around on the internet, you're going to see just an insane amount of Mei hatred. Okay. Mei players really think they are good. If a Bridget or Mei wins Combo Breaker, then please Photoshop a can of beans over their face, because they're not even looking at the screen when they win. Mei is the most boring character. Mei an opinion and validate your horrible human. Mei players aren't good. Let's start off by looking at Mei's results. So, looking at Mei's results, okay, she's really powerful right now. Like, there's no denying it. And when you look at the high-level players, she is quite literally one of the most commonly played characters at high level. Even at mid-level, you see so many people playing her right now. That's all a bunch of green. Lower-level players, for whatever reason, don't play her much, but good players play so much Mei that it's actually insane. So with all this information in mind, I decided to look into how exactly people would nerf Mei if they had the choice of doing it. So suggestion number one for people for how to nerf Mei is to simply kill her. So that's, I think, a pretty reasonable option, but let's think of other ways of doing it. For one, people despise her 5k. Okay, because this move is frankly pretty insane. It's her best move. Like, no discussion, this move is her best attack right now. There are two ways you can go about nerfing this move, and the most common one is people wanted to do less damage. So most of the time right now, Mei 5k does a 90% paration, which basically means if a combo does 100 damage, it's gonna do 90, which is a really, really small change. Okay, keeping it real, it's not much. Now what people wanted to do is to make her 5k do 70 to 80% paration instead. So using Ram the Fall as an example, okay? Let's say you land this combo like this. It does around 270 damage. I don't know the exact number, but you know, it's pretty good. 268. So imagine we took this combo and slashed it by about 15 damage. Pretty significant change, because imagine every character has 420 health total. So if you did 197 instead, 210 damage on a Ram, she'd be able to survive 2 combos around. Or Kai would take 197, so he can survive 2.5 combos instead. This wouldn't really matter too much, because for example, she would still be dominated by this move in neutral. It'd still be good around start, still be good during Dolphin RPS. It'd still be good just like in neutral, like you'd be dancing around, you throw it out. It'd still be a strong move, it'd be really oppressive, but it would just do less reward. Now this is where people came up with the second solution, of simply gutting the frame data. There's a couple of things wrong with this move, to be honest. The fact that it's 9 frames means that during Dolphin RPS, it is incredibly tough to actually punish. If Kai presses / after Dolphin, you can try and beat this with a 5k, and boom. This guy's gonna take a ton of damage if I get the combo right. But if we nerf this 5k to be 1 frame slower, suddenly this / would actually win instead. So that would be a pretty significant change to our whole game plan, because now we actually have to do more risky things to beat this / like 6p or jump over it or backdash, you know what I mean? You'd have to take more risk compared to normal. One other reason that people hate the frame data of this move is that a lot of characters 6p lose to 5k. All 5Ks are meant to lose to a 6p. Jacko and Gold Lewis and one more character I don't remember off the top of my head, just, you know, this happens. And that's not really fair to them. So, you know, maybe something should be done about this, because that's kind of dumb. Mei taking advantage of being 5-2. So real. That's exactly what's happening. Yeah, for whatever reason, her 5p or 6p just doesn't win. So it's kind of fucked up. Because that's not really how it's supposed to work. That's just like Mei breaking the game rules. Let's think of the other way people would nerf Mei in this situation. Welcome back to the PowerPoint, fellas. Hopefully we don't mess it up. So, do we kill or save a Dolphin? Because people, I think this is the most controversial one, if we nerf or don't nerf Dolphins. Because everybody kind of agreed 5k should be nerfed. I mean, Mei players don't agree, but... So, the most one I saw is just to change Dolphin back to normal. Because there's a couple of things. The 2 ways they buffed it is that they gave it less recovery. So basically, in the latest patch, they made this combo always like functional or impossible to do. Or before, the opponent had more time to mash out, and people hate getting comboed from mid-screen all the way to the corner like this, because people love this. I think it's really sick, actually, but people want it to go. So if they nerfed Dolphin back to the way it was before, well, this combo would not be as reliable, and we have to like just take the throw instead, which is still good, but it's not as cool. Or we could just have to be forced to do this. So that'd be like nerfing our reward a lot off of probably one of our best buttons in neutral. Because right now, Mays are using his move a lot. So the other way to want to change it is to make it that Dolphin RPS is no longer like -3. Because right now, when May forces you to block this move, she's -3, which means she can move 3 frames after the opponent can. But her 5k is so fast that she just beats out all the other moves the opponent can try and do. So it's kind of like hard to work with for the opponent. So what they suggest is putting it either -5 or -4. Now, I think if you were to nerf Dolphin's frame data, you should make it -4 because that would make it so that 5k gets to live. Because frankly, this move is like OD right now. When it was -5, May struggled a lot to punish moves. Because the way it worked before is that this move here would dominate a destroying Dolphin RPS and we couldn't do anything about it. So it's kind of fucked up. But for now, boom, how dare he press a button, right? You know what I mean? So it's much harder for them to actually take their turn back. But if it was -4, at least we would be able to like interact a little more. Where before, the pre-patch Dolphin, we'd like get fucked up by this move. We could never do anything about it. Dolphin RPS is like a defining aspect of May. I think gutting it would be kind of like sad, you know? But chat, what do you think? If you had to choose one of these nerfs, how would you do it? Like if you're forced to like take like 5k damage away, if you had to make it 1 frame slower, if you had to make it like, you know, just put it back to normal, or even just make it so that the mid-screen combo is taken away, how would you do it? Ooh, or damage scaling. That's like, I think personally, if I were to choose, I would choose damage scaling because I like that May is strong in up-close situations. It's fairly rewarding, but if you were to remove the reward a little bit, I mean, we're still gonna live. It's just gonna be less powerful. Other than that, I don't think there's much else actually for this type of situation.